So it seems that 40k is coming to Amazon TV sooner than expected, with a whole bunch of details revealed about a new show that's dropping in December. And I thought I'd do a quick roundup of the 40k news over the past couple of days, a small change in schedule to their reveal show, a correction about the Blood Angels Combat Patrol, and some rather intriguing model teasers that look like they could be Votann and something Chaos. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today I thought we'd do a quick roundup of the model news. The biggest thing today being a whole bunch of new details about Space Marines appearing on Amazon. Though I thought I'd also round up a whole bunch of other things that I wanted to talk about as well. Games Workshop really seems to have been keeping the news and reveals coming thick and fast recently. First up, let's talk about the Amazon show. This one was something that I touched on briefly in yesterday's video. Basically the news that 40k will be featuring in a gaming compendium series called Secret Level, basically 15 different short episodes of animations, all of which so far look like they're done to really quite a high standard, and the whole thing is being created by the makers of Love, Death and Robots, the series of pretty creepy animated sci-fi shorts that came out on Netflix, generally to pretty positive reception. In general, for the most part, people seem pretty positive about that. They do feel like the sort of creators that both have the animation to convey the feel and spectacle of the 40k lore, and also likely aren't going to shy away too far from all the horror and gore and stuff that 40k generally entails. In any case, looks like we had a bit more news today. It was announced on an online preview, and then followed up by a short article on Warhammer Community, giving us a few other teasers and details. The main trailer that they dropped very much isn't just for the 40k things, but we did get a couple of interesting 40k segments in the reveal trailer, which had a couple of really fun little teasers. The first of the teasers was this one, basically the opening of the trailer. It has a whole bunch of Space Marines fighting in the pitch black, bolt shells and power saws dispatching an assailant that's really quite hard to see. The big flashes of glowing blue ectoplasma flying left and right. Their foes dispatched, the Space Marines continue onwards. One of them chains to a mysterious box, dragging it behind them onwards to their goal, and they have the Prime logo in the backdrop. From taking a bit of a closer look at a few of the stills, it looks like the squad of Ultramarines is fighting what looks like some Zangors or Tzeentch Beastmen of some sort there. They've got fancy looking Chaos armour. I'm not really sure I could properly see any beaks on them, though they certainly have the curved horns. That certainly feels like a bit of a Tzeentch kind of fight with the whole glowing blue when they go splat. You can see this guy on the right here who's been cut through with a power sword, having a whole load of glowing blue ichor fly out of him. Looks like the squad of Ultramarines is one of 4. A fair few of the others look kind of like elite guards, almost like Blade Guard. 2 of them have power swords and one appears to have a power axe, though it does look like it's our main man Titus himself in the foreground, dragging a chained object behind him, and he's got his chains that he wears around one wrist, fighting with bolt pistol in the trailer, though he also has a chainsword on his hip. I guess whatever object he's dragging around is key to their mission. Otherwise, the second clip comes around about midway through the trailer. This one's a short and sweet one, going with so fast-paced action that blink and you'll miss it. A truckload of cultists coming in, all guns blazing, against a lone Space Marine. Again, it looks like Titus once more, though it seems that Astartes, even driving a massive motor vehicle, aren't enough to bring down a Space Marine. The truck or buggy goes straight into him, and he basically just holds his ground, and the thing breaks upon him. Good job to the artificers who made his power armor, I guess. Again, taking a look at the stills, again it does look like Titus due to his chains on his right wrist. You can also make out his laurel wreath and lieutenant style markings there as well. And if you slow it down, it does look like it's a human cultist crew manning the buggy as opposed to orcs or anything like that. They don't look quite chunky enough to be greenskins to me. Otherwise, the trailer jumps around a bit. The vast majority of the other stuff isn't 40k related, though there is a quick glimpse of what looks like a blind Imperial. I guess that this one's probably an astropath perhaps. Always good plot devices to get messages from A to B, and then every so often, no doubt, have some perils of the warp happen to them. Finally, we have a couple of stills from the preview article as well. A nice picture of Titus once more, and then another shot of that Space Marine team that we saw earlier, this time approaching a great temple of some sort. Titus still seems to be dragging his box behind him, and there's a whole load of candles lit. The other Space Marines do have the sort of Blade Guard crest type thing mounted on their backpacks. In any case, all looks very intriguing. The episode apparently is going to be called Chaos, so no prizes for guessing the antagonist there. I guess we've seen a bunch of cultists already. And in that article, Games Workshop said that this is very much a definitive Warhammer story. They've had involvement with the plotline and everything of that. It's maybe just a little bit more legitimate than them licensing their IP and just telling the creator to go off and make whatever. Apparently the release date of the series is on December the 10th on Prime Video, and they confirmed that this is completely separate to the previously announced TV series that they'd talked about with Henry Cavill on board, and they basically also announced that they're going to be making a Warhammer 40k movie of some sort, though potentially that could be further down the pipeline. In any case, it'll just be one episode of 40k, might not be the very most enormous difference from a Warhammer Plus animation release, I guess, though to me from those first impressions, it looks like perhaps the animation is a bit next level beyond that, and of course it's going to be seen by far more people given that it's not locked to a very niche streaming platform with not much content on it. This is going to be available for everyone to watch on Amazon itself. Here's the list of other games that they mentioned as well. I'll admit a whole load of the names on that list don't ring a bunch of bells for me. I suspect I'll give the series a watch in its entirety though. I did enjoy Love, Death and Robots. Otherwise, beyond the animations, I thought I'd do a quick roundup of the other 40k news things over the past few days. A few more teasers and previews and lore things, plus a small but interesting correction to a previous video. Looks like for the rumour engines, there's yet more Votann stuff. There's been a whole bunch of things that look very likely to be new content for the leagues coming. This week we have some sort of weird gizmo on the end of a stick, potentially some sort of staff or scepter. I guess could be a weapon of some sort, I really don't know. Again, it looks like it's got good trappings that go in well with the rest of the way that their stuff is designed. And between this and the rest, we've got really quite a lot of stuff that looks strong Votann potential. When these ones have come out before, I would have said that all of these were odds on to be for the leagues. Between the toolbox one and the sort of welding one, we've got something that looks like a mechanical mechanic. Kind of interesting given that they've already got their Brocklier Iron Master, and some sort of hover robot that looks like it's a Vox announcer. I'd guess that all of these will be for the leagues given the styling of them, though I guess it's not impossible at this point that they could be for something else weird and wonderful. I'm sure lots of King collectors are looking forward to when the second half of their range drops. Otherwise, last week's rumour engine was also an interesting one, basically a welding blowtorch type thing on a mechanical arm. Again, the spikes on this one making me think Chaos, and I kind of wonder if this might be put together with the other sort of Chaos androidy sort of things that we've seen. The two on the left I was kind of suspecting might be the Thousand Suns automata that they've teased in the lore. Kind of unusual heretical technology, plus the bit on the shin pad of the foot that you can see on the left there looks like it might be the Thousand Suns blue and yellow stripes. I'm not 100% sure if this one does fit in with those or not. In general, the Imperium don't go in for spiky stylings, though compared with the other ones, the casings look a bit more clean and not quite as worn as the Chaos hand or the foot. It could be for something else. I saw on Reddit people speculating that it could be maybe some sort of welding cutting arm for a Berserker surgeon for the World Eaters, another model that was very heavily teased in lore. Though I guess there's all sorts of other possibilities, something else vaguely Dark Mechanicum or Necromunda maybe. I guess could still be something Imperial or Admech, though I feel like it's just a bit less likely if they are going to be putting a bunch of spikes on them. I thought I'd just mention that there's been a small update to the timing of Games Workshop's Nova Open preview, the one that's going to be happening next week. I talked about that in the video yesterday, saying to be at 1 AM British time or 8 PM over in the USA. Seems that they announced the wrong time for it, or they've had to adjust it for some reason. Looks like it's going to be 9 PM over in the USA, that being Eastern time, and then 2 AM in the UK. I'll certainly be up and ready to talk about it whenever it comes out though. Lots of hype around this one, I think. I'm not really expecting the most amount of model reveals ever. I'd guess maybe something like 1 or 2 characters for 40k, plus maybe a battle force. From what they said, it sounds like this one's going to be a bit more of a roadmap and setting out expectations sort of preview. And that is something that people have had quite a lot of hype for over the past few months. It'd just be really good if they gave us a Codex roadmap that goes out maybe to spring, just so we know when the vast majority of the other factions in 10th edition are going to be getting their content. Next up, and in a small correction to the Blood Angels Combat Patrol video that I did earlier, where it really seems that people were quite divided as to how much they liked that one. Some people absolutely despise the idea of 17 models being a whole combat patrol for like £100 now. There are really quite a lot of people kind of looking forward to the fact that it will actually be a Blood Angels box that has actual Blood Angels jump infantry in it, and a good amount of the new ones, even if they aren't universally loved. In any case, when I was talking about it, I thought that the upgrade sprue in the box set would be the Primaris one. Basically the previous Blood Angels upgrade sprue, like the one that's just been taken off sale. It looks like it was kind of sparing use of any of the upgraded parts on the Assault Intercessors, and the ones that they had used look quite similar to that one, Plus, with the previous Combat Patrol box set that they had for a Divergent chapter Space Marines with the Dark Angels, and that one had the older Primaris one as opposed to the new upgrade sprue. In the comments though, I was corrected that it looks like the Sergeant at least does have parts from the new sprue. You can see him here, and he's got the chainsaw that you can see on the top left of the sprue picture here, plus the icon that you can see is sort of centre left as well. So from this one it at least looks like that you'd get the new and frankly better Blood Angels upgrade sprue, and you could use those spare bits like the Inferno Pistol and the Eviscerator to basically run them as Death Company, which I think to be fair you probably could have done anyway, but there's no need to even find anything to stand in for the Eviscerator part now. Overall, that one does up the value of the box set in my eyes a little bit. I do think that this one's a much better upgrade sprue, far more generous with the parts, and having at least a couple of bits that are in-game relevant, quite a few more trinkets to add personalisation to the chapter, and I suspect that there'll be 2 copies of it as well to allow shoulder pads for all the Assault Intercessors. Finally, earlier today we had a Kill Team lore teaser for the Vespid, the ones that are going to be coming out in that Kill Team Hivestorm box set, hopefully in the not too distant future, fighting the Tempestus Aquilons Scions with Grav Shoot jump pack things. From the model previews we already had a good idea as to what the new squad will be armed with, and in general the miniatures seem to have gone down really quite well. People really quite like the resculpts of them, with a whole bunch of Bosnian Sectoid Xenos armed with fancy high-tech tower weapons. It was interesting to see a lore article dig a bit deeper into the Vespid, which haven't really been particularly well explored in terms of lore before. They did touch on the details that are known about them. They fight with neutron blasters, radioactive crystals that are deadly to other organisms but don't really damage them. We saw their new war gear in the previous reveals with a grenade launcher, rail rifle, tau flamer, and an interesting stealth Vespid. Though I did think it was kind of interesting that their lore's being redirected a little bit to be almost sort of remote control Xenos. They've always had the thing about the Communion helm on the Strain leaders almost being a sort of mind control thing for the Tau, though maybe it not being too front and central as to how they really work, but now they're going for a little bit more of a sense that basically they're working with a Firecast operator who mans this oversight drone to see what they're doing, and basically seems to work with the Strain leader, doing something between giving him orders and controlling him, and them directing the rest of the units towards their goals. I think that oversight drone being almost like the unit commander in its own way is kind of interesting, a different sort of concept for them. Fun to have that on the tabletop, and it'll be interesting to see what that thing does in the 40k rules. In the article they said they'd be delving into a bit more of their Kill Team rules on the tabletop this week, but I wouldn't be too optimistic about a new 40k datasheet until the actual release of the box set comes out, and that could be at least a little while yet, given that it's only just been revealed. In any case, I'll leave it there for this one. Let me know what you make of the new Amazon trailers. Would you be tempted to tune in for that one? And what do you make of the teasers so far? Otherwise, look forward to hearing all your thoughts on the other stuff. Votann and Chaos Mechanical sort of bits, Blood Angels upgrade sprue and Vespid. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or I'll certainly keep the regular videos coming. Hopefully we'll get more details as to the Blood Angels Codex coming out shortly. And finally, if you'd like to help support the channel and keep all the videos coming, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description down below. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways, with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, an absolutely massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.